When I first moved to Australia, I started making videos all about the crazy culture shocks here, like the dangerously high UV, bin chickens, Milo, all of that good stuff. But today, I'm doing something completely different. Last weekend, I flew to Melbourne not just to explore the city, but to run through it. 21.1 kilometers in the cold, no bag drop, not having warmed up properly, and to be honest, I wasn't even sure I'd make it to the start line, let alone the finish. But what happened out there, while it was kind of brutal, it was also kind of beautiful, and nothing like I expected. I started a 12-week training plan to get me to less than 1 hour 30-minute finish time. But just bear in mind, I did have some base level of fitness, but I'd been doing some very casual running before then. It wasn't a lot to go off, if I'm being totally honest. I've been so busy with sort of work and YouTube and freelance editing that, I sort of forgot about running a little bit, left it in the dust. And as soon as I started the training, all of that mileage went up. I suddenly was doing like 30 to 40 miles weeks, but that was just the beginning. I thought, I ran 3 marathons last year, my body is indestructible. Turns out, no, it's not. I'm only human. And suddenly I started to feel those stress fractures creeping in. My left leg on a long training run started to get this sheer sharp pain in the front of my leg, in my shin. I discovered that it was some early shin splints, which isn't ideal. I stopped, I walked back home, I hobbled back home more like, and that's when I had to take a couple of weeks kind of off, but kind of doing some light, slow, gentle running. And I was starting to worry because I'd only given myself a 12-week plan for this. Taking 2 whole weeks out of it, surely I'm not going to achieve this goal. And just for a bit of context, to hit a 1 hour, 29 minute and 59 second half marathon, every single kilometer in that half marathon, you have to run 4 minutes, 16 seconds or less in order to achieve a sub 90-minute run, which is crazy. And have I ever sustained that for 21.1 kilometers? Absolutely not. So if you're enjoying this random British man question all of his life choices because of signing up for this massive run, hit that like button and then maybe subscribe if you're feeling cheeky. Anyway, 12 weeks went by. The very expensive Jetstar flights were booked, and I felt that absolute rush of this is happening, this is real, as I'm looking at the city skyline appear before me, and I was thinking to myself, what have I done? What have I done? And as soon as we leave the aeroplane, we are getting pummeled by cold rain. The skies are grey. It's kind of dark, even though it's only like 4 p.m. And I thought, I'm home. I'm back in the UK. But honestly, kind of loved it. So my brother and sister-in-law, they live in Melbourne and they very kindly let us stay at their place, which was lovely. Having that family time, it really relaxed me before the race. It really, helped me to take my mind off the nerves, because I don't know about you, but every time I enter a running race and it's the day before, I am so nervous. I am so nervous. It feels like going on stage to do a performance. It's that scary. And the thing is, you don't need a whole crowd of hype people and supporters to, help you in this journey. Often just the few nearest and dearest loved ones are all that you need. And on Saturday, Maddie and I went to Melbourne Olympic Park. ASICS were calling it the event village, which is where I needed to pick up my number with my chip in it. And that was really exciting to basically do a recce and see the event village with all the different stalls, where the start line would be, what some of the track would look like, what areas they were closing off. It was really fun to see that and film a bit of this content for you guys. Anyway, Friday and Saturday absolutely flew by, and before I knew it, it was Sunday, race day, and I was waking up at 4:55 a.m. And as you guys know, it's winter in Australia right now, and it was freezing in Melbourne. Immediately put my pre-laid out running gear, went downstairs, coffee, porridge, electrolytes, ordered my Uber, and I was ready to go. Now, a lot of you in this video will probably be wondering, where on earth was your lovely wife Maddie? Well, I forced her to stay home. She always comes with me to races to support me. I just felt like she didn't have anyone else there with her. It was cold, it was dark. She would have been all on her own in a big city. So while she would always support me at every single race, I thought, no, it's best that she stays home, and it will probably make me feel better knowing that she's safe in a warm bed. And so because Maddie wasn't there, I was quite limited in what I could bring. So literally everything I took with me, I was wearing. But anyway, the Uber driver was an absolute legend. Shout out to him. He drove me into the city quickly but safely. But when we got closer to the Melbourne Olympic Park, as a lot of you will know, there's many sports and event stadiums in that area. And they basically closed off most of the roads, obviously, because of the half marathon. The Uber could only get me so close. So we're just gonna on foot the rest of it. Nice little jog to start us off. I made the rookie error. I didn't warm up at all, and I just started running towards the events village on foot with Google Maps in my hands, just following the sort of walking route. It was absolutely bonkers. Anyway, I get to the event village and it is rammed. There are thousands of people there, and I think there was something like 13,000 people running. And it's 6 a.m. I whip my head around and the stadium doors are opening for the runners to use the toilets. They literally opened as I looked, and all these runners start filtering in. And I'm like, oh no, I hope there's enough toilets in there, otherwise I'm gonna be late. So I sprinted to the doors, and then I joined the longest queue for the toilets you've ever seen. There were like 40 guys in front of me, and we were queuing for 6 cubicles. I thought to myself, that's it. I've missed the race. I've flown all this way, spent all this money on flights and entry and running shoes, and I'm gonna miss it. I queue and I queue and I queue, and I watch the minutes tick by, and it gets to 6:20 and it's finally my turn. I do what needs to be done. I sprint to the start line. I'm in wave A, so one of the first group of runners to go, and then there's wave B that go 10 minutes later, wave C, a little bit later, etc. I get into this massive line of people, and I'm in wave D, and I thought, oh no, I can't do this. This is not good. And it's like something from like a zombie film where everyone's queuing up for like food rations and stuff. It was like this massive queue. And so I start following this couple in front of me who are weaving in and out of these people to get closer and closer to the start line. I do that. They call the buzzer for wave A, and I just accept that I'm in wave B. And that's the thing. The start of something like a race is always messy. It never goes to plan, but you show up, you do it anyway, and that's what counts. That's what you look back on and have a good memory about. Anyway, the horn goes for the race and I start running. Definitely too fast. I've got my Strava app tracking my splits, and it was saying that I was going at a 6-minute 45-second pace. I wasn't even sure if I could sustain a 6-minute 50-second pace for 21.1 kilometers because I've never done that before. So I thought, okay, drop it back a bit, Sam, to 6-minute 50 seconds per mile. So I settled into that pace. There were thousands and thousands of people cheering. There were live musicians. There was a guy playing bagpipes. There were people playing like drums. There were like singers. It was amazing, and the atmosphere was electric. However, that was, I want to say like 7:15 p.m. onwards, but the first like quarter of the run, it was just dark. It was cold, it was lonely. I was absolutely chipping away, and everything was pretty smooth sailing. I took a gel every 30 minutes, was enjoying the gorgeous city skyline and all the buildings and running down all these gorgeous streets, and I was sustaining that 4-minute 15-second per kilometer pace. And I was so proud of myself. I have to admit, I was like, I can't believe I'm still going, until the botanical gardens hit me like a sack of bricks. I hadn't really mentally prepared for the course. I thought, Melbourne is probably going to be a bit flat, but those hills, they were a shocker. And thankfully, I've had some really good hill training here in Brisbane in the heat. So handling some hills in colder weather in Melbourne, it didn't feel that bad, but sustaining such a fast pace for, well over an hour now, it was tough, but we kept going. I could feel myself getting really hot, and that's why I had pulled the zip down all the way down on my quarter zip sort of running top. I was warm, and I was really jealous of all the guys wearing singlets because I was like, I don't want sleeves right now, I'm too warm, and that's why I look really rough in these photos. My legs were getting harder, felt a little bit more like stone, and honestly, I was questioning whether I would actually complete this race in that time that I wanted. But I kind of drowned out any negative self-talk that came into my head. Sam, you can't do this, you're rubbish, you're not fit enough, blah, blah, blah. I just tried to zone it out, and I kind of zoned everything out and just kept running as fast as I could. I would slow down sometimes, and then I would get a bit more gas in my tank and then go, go, go. I'll slow down a little bit more. The last couple of kilometers came up. I'm running. The drummers are like banging their drums. It was sick. And then I'm in the last 400 meters. But I was running as fast as I could. I crossed the finish line. And honestly, because I had started 10 minutes later than the first wave of people, the clock was saying like 1 hour 38. So I was like, oh, I don't know what my time will be. I'll have to wait for my chip result to come in. And then I get this text message from the organizers that say your finish time was 1 hour 28 minutes. And I was over the moon. I couldn't believe it. And honestly, when I get a goal in my head, I get very obsessive about achieving that goal. I want that thing really badly. I need to have it. And honestly, to achieve something I genuinely didn't believe I was physically capable of doing so, it felt like I'd won the lottery. And so this whole experience honestly taught me that you don't need to ask permission to set a big, crazy goal. You can just go out and do it. And even if you don't think you can do it, just give it a good go. Just give it a bloody good go. You never know. And honestly, if you've been resonating with my story, you might enjoy my free weekly newsletter. It's only a 3-minute read. I go a little bit deeper into my life here in Australia, give you some helpful tips for your running and self-improvement. So if that sounds good to you, I'll leave it in the first link in the description below. Right, gotta find my way out of here now. It's so busy. And I'm just gonna go get the train home. What a crazy time. Can't believe it. And honestly, sitting on that 50-minute train home was pure bliss. I wasn't hungry. I wasn't feeling tired. I was just feeling so happy and alive. And I was looking out at the view of Melbourne and I thought this has been one of the best experiences of my life. And honestly, I'm not gonna stop. So if you've enjoyed this video, I know you're absolutely going to love this one here, all about the 10 rules that tourists often break when they get to Australia and how you can make sure that you avoid them. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, bye.